Department of Criminal Justice. We're doing a phone interview with her tonight. I apologize for any background noise. I've tried my best to get everybody quiet, but it's not happening. Christy, JJ, thank you guys. If you don't know who Celeste Beard is, she is from California and she moved to Texas sometime in the late 90s and ended up marrying a man named Stephen Beard from Austin. Invisible Voices, hello everyone. So she married him. He was a multimillionaire. She ends up going to a mental hospital.
This is a free call from
Celeste Johnson,
an inmate at Murray Unit. This call is being recorded and is subject to monitoring. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm okay. It's arriving.
Right.
It's been a day.
It's been a day. I spoke with your mother today.
Yes, she told me that she spoke with you.
It probably could have been.
She got all ready and everything. She thought you were going to do a Zoom call with her.
Well, I was planning on it, and then I ended up having to babysit today, and so things have just been crazy. But I told her I was going to...
Yeah, I told her that you could do it later or something.
Yeah, I was going to get back with her, and we would definitely do it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Alrighty. Yeah, someone got beat up in our dorm yesterday, and I was just like traumatized all night by it, and anyway.
Well, that's really messed up. So, do you know what you want to start with talking about, or did you?
No, I'm just at your mercy. Whatever you want to start with is fine with me.
Okay. Well, I kind of wanted to start with what's happening right now.
Okay.
With what happened in Galveston.
Okay, great.
But before we do that, can I ask, are you going to call one time or two times?
I can call as many times as you want.
Okay.
The count isn't until 6:30, so.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so yeah, I want to start with what is going on right now with everything in the prison and what happened at the hospital.
Okay. Well, I have to go down there. I wouldn't have been going down there. I mean, I have to go down there as I was going down there as a 2024, and I was put in safekeeping as a safekeeping inmate because I had been assaulted twice, 2 different times. I'm a medical patient, and I had been assaulted twice. I'm an advocate in here, and I had been assaulted twice by 2 different inmates in the medical dorm, and in 2024.
And is that why, is the assaults from the other inmates, is that what caused you to have all the surgeries and stuff?
Well, no, I became diabetic. What started it was at the beginning, when I was in my trial in 2003. I had osteoporosis, and I was diagnosed in 1996. And when I was in my trial, I was in a cast because I had broken my leg in 3 places, and my leg wasn't healing. I ended up being on crutches with a non-union fracture. I ended up being on crutches for 3.5 years. And so that's what originally started my hospital trips, because my leg wouldn't heal. started it. And then I had stomach problems, and they had to sew my stomach around my esophagus. And when I came back, I was forced to heavy lift, and that tore my stomach. And so I eventually had to have a second surgery. And then I was diagnosed as a diabetic, and just one thing after the other. Then I was hypothyroid, just from eating prison food. And I was malnourished, and just one thing after the other. But this time, I was because of my being assaulted. And but I was in it's called the 4B holding cell, because we're on the fourth floor, and the room is 4B. So I was in the holding cell at this time, and the person that had attacked me and knocked me out, she attacked me because when we were in I was in the medical dorm, because I was in a wheelchair, and I had cracked my tailbone when I was in the shower. And anyway, she had cut this 23-year-old girl who had 3 weeks to do until she went home. She didn't know that she wasn't supposed to move somebody's clothes. She was only getting a number and then going home. Anyway, we only had one officer in F dorm, and there's 4 pods, and he was trying to do the dorms. Anyway, we couldn't get anyone to come in and help her. She was bleeding terribly, and nobody would help her. And I'm in my wheelchair, and I wheel to the phone. I call my mom in California, and I'm telling her, please call up to the unit and tell them we need help, because this girl's face is bleeding profusely, and nobody will help us. She needs to go to medical. The picket box is not answering. So my mom calls. I'm on the phone with her, and finally the one officer gets in the dorm, and sees the girl's shirt is bloody. And so he leaves, gets her to medical. He comes back in the dorm, and he's asking, who cut her? Who cut her? And nobody will tell. So I tell him who it is. So he goes to her cubicle, and she's hiding under her bed. He gets her out, and as he's taking her out, he doesn't have handcuffs. So as he's taking her out, he's almost out the door, and she's asking, who told? Well, the ambulatory girls upstairs say Celeste. So she turns and sees me on the phone. Well, the officer is kind of crippled. He's limping. So she pushes him out of the way, speaks me on the phone with my mom, pulls me by my gun on my head, and rips me out of my wheelchair and knocks me unconscious, just beats the crap out of me. And my mom's dangling on the phone. She's like 85 at the time. And finally the ACE team get here, but one elderly inmate who's like in her 70s crawls out of her wheelchair. Another inmate crawls out of her wheelchair. One's holding on to her legs. Another's trying to get her, and I'm knocked out, and she's still trying to beat me up. And Mr. Williams, the officer, is literally laying on top of her like a sardine. Anyway, so they get me away from her, and I come to, and then they get me back to my cubicle, and they're trying to lift me, up into my wheelchair, and then I pass out again and fall on the floor. So anyway, that's what happened. So I'm in 4B holding cell. Well, that day, I'm at Carol Young. Well, that day, they had to take me by ambulance to John Sealy Hospital Galveston, and they didn't take my wheelchair with me because I went by ambulance. And they thought, okay, the hospital has enough wheelchair. Well, they didn't. So I'm in the holding cell on a gurney, and all of a sudden we see each other, and she starts threatening to kill me. She's going to get me. So I get scared, and as soon as the officer opens the door, I get off that gurney and I crawl out the door. And I'm scared to death, and I'm crying and trying to tell Sergeant Hall about she's in there, we're not supposed to be in the same room together and all that. And he starts cussing. I don't give a F, I don't give a F. You better get back in there. And I'm telling him, no, there's no way I'm getting back in there. So finally, he says, okay, we're going to get her out. So they go in there and get her out. And then he says they locked her up. And he tells me, go back in there. So I said, how am I supposed to go back in there? He said, you effing crawl back in there the same effing way you came out. So I crawl all the way in there, get back up on the gurney, and then as soon as I do that, then he gets her and puts her right back in there, and he's laughing so hard, and I was like, oh my God. So I'm just crying. Well, my friends in there get up on the gurney with me, and they just surround me. So as soon as they take me to my ear, nose, and throat appointment, they take me on the gurney, and I'm a basket case. And the doctor's really mad because I'm crying. He can't examine me. And so the nurse goes and calls Safe Prisons there. And Major Alfin comes with the Safe Prison officer. And they come, and I tell them what happened. And they write it all down. And they take me to 4C, which is the men's safe cell, and they put me in a holding cell, and I stay there until Carol Young comes and picks me up. Well, when I get to Carol Young, the safe prisons introduce me, and I write a statement, and then they get a hold of the warden, and then from then on, I'm put in as safekeeping at Hospital Galveston. Well, I stay that way for about a year and a half. And all this time, Sergeant Hall and his girlfriend, Sergeant Luna, are mad, and then Officer Luna. They're mad, and they are mean to me. They do use of force on me. They have, sometimes they put my wheelchair up on 2 wheels, and they're just real mean to me down there. And I keep writing grievances on them. And then there's a period of time where they finally leave me alone. And then all of a sudden, after all these grievances, about for 6 months, it stops, where they leave me alone. And then finally, I guess he thought that, I got a step 2 back, and so they left me alone, and I got a step 2 back, and I decided stupidly, well, I'm just going to drop it, because they left me alone, and, it was last Christmas.
And so from there until now, what happened recently?
Well, from that step 2 at last Christmas against Sergeant Luna, it was either Sergeant Luna or the sister, CO Luna. I was supposed to drop the step 2, file it on one of them. I can't remember. Well, there had been no problem. I was in safekeeping, and there was no problem. So I didn't file the step 2 because it was around Christmas, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to not do it because I'll give them grace and mercy, because I didn't want to cost them any money, because they get that deduction in pay, or they don't get their pay raise. So there had been no problem. So everything was fine. Then all of a sudden, he starts acting erratic again, and I guess because because he wouldn't stop, the warden decides to change me from safekeeping to high profile. But technically, I've been high profile my entire 24 plus years in prison.
Yeah.
But I've never invoked it. But high profile is not a good thing in prison. Because high profile means that Gonzalo Lopez is high profile.
Mm-hmm. Yolanda.
No, Gonzalo, the one that killed all those innocent people.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, when I say that, is if you're a good high profile like me, who doesn't get into trouble and advocates for the other inmates and is always out for the people that get mistreated in here, and I'm always out for the underdog, and I've used my entire 24 years to help the other people in here, and my mom has done the same thing. It doesn't matter when you are labeled high profile, which I have never used that label inside prison. Made the warden label me high profile. You are treated as Gonzalo Lopez high profile. So that means you are treated like Gonzalo Lopez. So now suddenly, all of a sudden within the last 90 days, I am treated like I am a Gonzalo Lopez high profile.
Like a bad actor, basically.
Yeah. I'm like, what the heck? Seriously. So now I'm like, what is going on? So I'm listening in this fake cell, and they're saying, these fake officers who are under Sergeant Hall's jurisdiction, they're saying, now we can make money off her. I know how to make money. And, they're like ridiculous about how, they can go this way, they can do this way. And they're on their phones, which they're not supposed to have, saying, oh my God, wow, she's been in here like 19 years. And I'm thinking, you don't know how to ask. I've been high profile more than 19 years, dummy, and I've been in prison more than 19 years. Dummy, that's what I'm thinking when I'm listening to them and thinking, they're going to make all this money on me. But I'm just like, oh my God, you guys are really stupid. But then, they made this big crown on this thing, so all these men going by are mocking me, singing all these songs all night, and saying all these terrible things to me. And it was awful. They were tormenting. So then, the day I got out of surgery, this happened 2 weeks before my surgery. And then the day I had my neck surgery, which was from being assaulted, and this will be my third surgery from the second time I was assaulted, and now it's for helping another inmate. And the day I had my neck surgery, and then I got discharged, and this is unheard of. I can't even count how many surgeries I've had in TDC, and this has never, ever, ever happened, where you get discharged and you don't have, the nurse doesn't even have time to take out your IV, because when you get discharged, it's not quick, it's not, unless somebody's waiting for you, the van or something. But anyway, the nurse didn't even know I was getting discharged. The Sergeant Luna, who's Sergeant Hall's girlfriend, came and got me. and she didn't even let me put my clothes on. And I know she had them because she had to get my glasses, my sunglasses, that I wear 24 hours a day for my eyes. She gave me those, but she didn't give me my clothes, and she gave me a gown and no bra and panties, and you never, ever, ever get discharged without your clothes unless you don't have them. And it's an emergency situation. So she had my clothes. She didn't give them to me because she had my glasses, and those were in my jacket pocket. And she just handed me my glasses, and she handed me a gown with the gown. I mean, I was wearing the blue hospital gown and no bra and panties. And she took me straight back to the 4C holding cell. And I remembered the nurse was saying, I got to get these IVs out of her. I had IVs in each arm. And I remember the nurse had ordered my medication because she was missing, I don't know, it was one of my KOPs, Primer, I think. But I remember the nurse telling me, I don't understand.
Is this whenever everything happened? Like is that when you were there right now after the surgery, is that when the next situation happened?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is on Friday. So usually you just stay in the hospital bed for the weekend. You don't go back to, and I'm in a room by myself because now I'm high profile. So I'm in a hospital bed by myself on 6A. So, which is, why are you moving me if nobody's there to pick me up, number one, and it's early in the morning, and why are you in such a rush personally to move me? What's the big, and the nurse was, I remember the nurse, she was so nice to me, and she was just not understanding. I hadn't even seen the doctor yet, and why was it such a rush? And it was odd to me because, for one thing, I've written so many grievances on Luna and her sister and Sergeant Hall. They shouldn't have any interaction with me at all, period, because there's been so many grievances on use of force of them against me. So that's number one. Also, they should never have any interaction with me.
No, not with that many use of forces.
No, against me. And so, but I'm still under the anesthetic and the other medication that they were giving me. And then I had extra, because I have a lot of anxiety, they give me extra medicine when they put me out too, because, and then the nausea stuff. Anyway, so I'm kind of, under all this stuff, and I'm a lightweight because I don't take a lot of that kind of medicine anyway, and I've never done drugs, so I'm kind of, anyway, so I was just wondering what's going on. So she hurries me back to that fake holding cell, and so I go to that holding cell, and then instead of a cotton blanket, I had the surgical blanket, because I took that with me. The nurse put the surgical blanket on that I had in my hospital bed, so I'd have something to cover, because I just had that gown on. So I really didn't remember the surgical blanket until the other day when I was, when I finally talked to OIG, because after she left, like 10 seconds after she left, when I talked to her, when I was getting back into bed, I was like, oh my God, I forgot to tell her I had a surgical blanket on, and the packer took the surgical blanket with them because they're heavier, but they're smaller than those huge white cotton blankets, and I didn't have that, but anyway. So she dropped me off, put me in bed, the forcing holding center, and I was right across from the nurse, and I remember laying. I had the neck collar on, and I remember basically just passing out on my back, and the next thing I remember is I remember thinking that at arm, my head hurting really bad. I remember thinking that the arm came out of the wall and just bashed the side of my head in, and I felt like my jaw was dislocated because I thought my tooth was loose, but it felt like my jaw was dislocated from the left to the right, and that I thought, I just didn't know, I just wondered about that, and I felt like, my tooth was loose, but I thought, well, maybe that happened when I got punched in the side of the head, but I was thinking that it came out of the wall because when they kept me in there 6 days when I was in June or July, I'll have to look at the date, when they kept me in there when I was, last year when I was in the hot van, and I was in the heat, they had, I kept thinking the arms were coming out of the wall, and I was hallucinating. So I thought, but then as I was coming to later, I was realizing it was a human arm. And then I was, when I eventually did get up, I felt like my stomach, my rectum hurt, but I felt like it was up inside my stomach. And when I finally could go to the restroom, I felt like something was like not wrong, but something. It felt like something was like skin in my rectum, but I couldn't. It was so painful, but it hurt all the way up. It felt like in my stomach, but not in my stomach, but in the area inside me. And but for a long time, I felt so paralyzed, like I couldn't move. And I was so sweaty, and I felt sick, like nauseated, like when I don't know how to explain it, but have you ever had an enema where it just, like if the doctor gave you an enema, and it just made your whole body feel just...
I can't even imagine. Honestly, I can't.
And you just feel like you're going to vomit. And so I got in my wheelchair finally, and I went to the nurse, and I said, I don't know what's wrong with me, but something's wrong with me, and I don't know. I said, it feels like something's coming out of my bottom, but I can't feel anything. It feels like skin or something. I can't explain it. I said, but my whole body feels sweaty. My hair, everything feels wet and sweaty. And
You have 1 minute left.
And she said, you'll be fine. And I said, I just feel sick. I said, can you check my blood sugar or something? And she just looked at me and walked away. And I said, and so I just went back and laid down. But when I went to the bathroom, I was completely naked. And I saw my gown on the floor, but I never did find my blanket. And then that's when I remembered after the OIG lady left that they must have taken that surgical blanket with them. But I was so hot that
real quick before it cuts off, because I want you to call back.
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.
Well, at least I told her to call back. So she's going to call back. And Eric, I promise when she calls back, I will let her know that you're in the chat. So what she was describing, if you didn't understand, is something very horrific that happened to her just recently, right after she had this surgery. In fact, this picture was taken last weekend, and the situation happened the weekend before that. What happened was 3 male officers brutally raped her while she was pretty much under anesthesia after having a neck surgery. And so she'll call back in a second. Yes, I will tell her, Eric. And she will talk about the crime. Okay, I know you guys are very interested in that, and so she will. She'll call back as many times as we want her to. She said that in the beginning. So, she has a lawsuit against the prison. The officers have been arrested because they were the ones. Yes, they have been arrested. Yes. Well, she's done 24 years. She has a life sentence. We do communicate a little. How did she find out? She was extremely in pain. She was in extreme pain. Where's she at? That's just a call back. She's in prison. Yes, Becky, I assume.
Hello. There's a free call from
Celeste Johnson.
an inmate at Murray Unit. This call is being recorded and is subject to monitoring. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free call, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, before you start back up, I wanted to tell you I have someone named Eric that says that he loves you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So, anyways, just to tell you that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And I love Eric too. How'd you know Eric?
We're talking in chat right now.
Oh, okay. Tell Eric that I emailed him back, but it's taking so long for my email.
Okay.
Yeah, let him know.
I will send that on through.
Okay, thank you.
So that happened. And then
what I wanted to also say is that, I think it was before the nurse, when I was just laying there totally paralyzed. I remember seeing, the only way I know how to describe him, the one that sodomized me, he looks like Snoop Dogg, but, way younger. I remember him just staring at me in through the door, the window in the door, and I said, please turn the light out, and he was just staring at me, and he said, you'll be strong, and I just was just like mortified, just crying, and he just kept staring at me, and I was just like wanting to just die, and I was just like, oh God, I don't know if I can do this, you know? And then just all the cover up after that.
Tamika, oh my God, yo.
Awful. And then it just got worse from there. Every turn I went through after that, nobody wanted to help me. Everybody just wanted to brush it under the carpet. And thank God that Dick went on TV, because the second person, I don't know what her name is, but her mom's name is, my mom told me what her name is.
It's okay. You don't have to say her name.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm hoping that she'll want to go on your podcast, because I know Dick will go on your podcast. But anyway, she got a hold of Dick, and now Dick's representing her as well.
That's good.
So, yes. So I'm hoping that she'll want to go on your podcast, too, because I'm glad that she contacted Dick and that he's going to be representing her as well, because I want something good to come of this, because they treat women so bad at that hospital. And then there's two women in my dorm, not in this, one woman in this dorm, and that was in the cell 2 months before it happened. No, it was in January that the woman in my dorm, she's my age, that she was in the cell, and Officer McDaniel was the one that did it in the other girl's mouth that Dick's representing.
Oh, wow.
That got raped. And Snoop Dogg did it in my rectum and
So,
the other girl's rectum.
well, do you know what his real name is?
No, I'm hoping Dick will. I'm hoping when you talk to Dick, he knows.
I might can look him up, because he was arrested.
Okay, well, anyway, that way I can quit calling him Snoop Dogg and use his real name.
Yes.
I don't want to associate.
No,
Because
you don't want to do
love
that.
him. Yeah, because I love him and Martha Davis.
Right.
I mean, Martha Stewart. Oh, my God. This concussion. They gave me a concussion. The neurologist said I have a concussion. Anyway,
So, can I ask about some other things?
yeah, but I wanted to let you know real quick that in January, those two got this other girl out of a cell 5 nights in a row. The first night, no condom was used, and the other 4 nights, a condom was used willingly. But my good friend, Claudia, who wants it made public, the one that did me rectally, he tried to pull her out of her rheumatology clinic appointment in front of a female officer, and she kept telling him no, and he was trying to grab her wheelchair and pull her out. That was 2 months before my appointment. This is ridiculous. And I sent that information to Dick because I want him to do depositions with these women, because I want them in trouble for everything.
Absolutely. Do you know how many women have come forward so far?
No.
Okay, I was wondering if there was a number, but
No, but I think Dick does. And
Okay.
I don't want TDC brushing this under the carpet.
No,
like they
it doesn't
do.
need to be swept under the rug. This is horrendous.
Yes, and that's why I want Dick to get these girls a deposition, because that's what they do. They sweep everything under the carpet. And Claudia, the one that wants to come forward, she is a beautiful person, and she was a police officer. She was a rookie, and she is a beautiful, honest girl. I mean, she's gorgeous, and she was a rookie police officer when she came here, and I knew her from Crane. We were in the CUNY dorm together, and she's beautiful. And she has this horrible neurological disease that puts her in a wheelchair now. But yeah, I'm sick of this, and I want to use this as a platform for what they're doing to us in this medical dorm. It's horrible.
It's unbelievable.
Anyway,
it's more than horrible.
Anyway, so now you can go on with your other question.
So, well, of course we want to know about why you're in prison, obviously.
Yes.
And also, the rumor is that maybe one of your daughters might still have a relationship of some sort with Tracy.
I know. My mom, well, I guess they sent it to me, but I gave it to my mom. I think she emailed it to you.
She did.
That's the rumor that Tracy is living with, or Jennifer's living with Tracy. And I don't understand why my kids hate me so much still. And Jennifer G4'd me, it sent me G4, but it turned out that ended up being a blessing to me, even though I went through hell. I lost 40 pounds in 40 days. I was on the Jenny Smith plan. But, yeah, for no reason, Jennifer, she got shot. I think my mom has it was in the newspaper at her own party. And,
Was it by her roommate?
Yes, she was renting a room to some, I think they were all doing drugs or drinking or something. But, I mean, really, and then she used the victim advocate who works for the DA's office and used him because I had all my friends donate to her GoFundMe, and I even wrote David Cooperman and asked him to break the corpus of the trust. I said Stephen would be rolling in his grave if he knew that she was going on a trolling on a GoFundMe begging for money to pay for her medical bills. What happened to all the money? I said her first wife, her ex-wife, must have absconded with her trust fund money, because if you saw her first wife, she's older than me. I mean, my God, and look at that ugly fur she was wearing. Where'd she get it, at the thrift store? I mean, who wears that crap nowadays? I mean, back then. I mean, really, that thing was old. Anyway, so she used that guy, Lynn Craig, and my mom can even send you a copy of the case. Yeah, saying that I used someone's third party. So anyway, I got 350 good time days taken, and G4 for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could have got him fired.
Okay, so let me just clarify. So when Jennifer was shot by her roommate, and did you try to contact her to reach out to see if she was okay? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then so she then turned around and called the warden and said, "Hey, I'm a victim in her crime," and that's how you got G4'd?
No. I really didn't call. I really didn't contact to see if she's okay. What I did is I had all my friends donate to her GoFundMe page. I didn't say, is she okay or anything. I had my friend BJ, just checking what's in the newspaper stuff. No, nobody contacted her outright. No, we all did it through the GoFundMe page and stuff. Nobody contacted her. What she did was she told Lynn Craig, the victim advocate, who, you get a victim's advocate when you're a victim of crime. He, who works for the DA's office, contacted Soria. Remember her?
Mm-hmm.
She was Sergeant Soria. He contacted her and said Jennifer was the victim of my crime, not Stephen. She was the victim.
And they used that against you and sent you to SEG.
Yes, because
right.
he was the victim's advocate for her shooting.
Right. Yeah, right.
So she manipulated him. She wasn't the victim of my crime. She was the victim of the crime that she got shot for.
Right.
Not of my crime. So she lied to him and misled him. So Judge Kasurik contacted the unit and said she's not the victim. Dick DeGuerin contacted the unit, said she's not the victim. They didn't believe him. It took Governor Abbott to contact the unit. 40 days later, I got my case overturned.
Wow.
And then in the middle of the night, got shipped off to Crane. That's how evil she is. That was 19 years I did here. Not here, but in prison. 19 years later, she's that hateful. Why?
So, I don't know. Do you think that, did it ever cross your mind that maybe Tracy manipulated the girls into testifying against you?
Well, at the beginning, when Jennifer asked me to be friends with Tracy, Jennifer's the one that was like, "Oh, I feel sorry for her," because when at St. David's, when I first went there, I got one young man a week's worth of clothing. Down to socks, jacket, shoes, underwear, everything he would need. He was homeless. We felt sorry for him. I paid one person's taxes. I bought someone's art. I did all kinds of stuff. Bought pizzas, stuff for everybody because I felt sorry for him. And then Jennifer, so I did because I thought Jennifer was trying to come out of the closet because we all knew she was gay except Stephen. He wouldn't accept it. But I've known she was gay since she was like 12. Really before that. So yeah, I befriended her for Jennifer because I thought maybe she wanted to finally come out of the closet and she needed help. So honestly, I don't know. I honestly thought it was Justin. But they all, the twins spent so much time with Tracy. I honestly don't know who manipulated who. And then I didn't know about San Ray until the trial, and then I didn't know that Tracy had tried to run over Reginald Blow at the trial either. She lied to me about everything. When I met her at St. David's, I thought she was in there for the same thing I was, dealing with childhood abuse. I didn't know she was in there because she was an alcoholic and a drug addict. I didn't know. She completely lied to me. I thought she was in there for the same reason I was. I was dealing with, Stephen and I were dealing with my sexual abuse trauma because he started, doing things that were so much like my father that I just couldn't stand it anymore. I could not stand it. It was just, I couldn't deal with it.
Okay, so there was an episode that I watched concerning your case, and it talked about when you and Tracy moved to a facility in Dallas.
Yeah, Timberline.
Okay, so your mother said something today that I thought was interesting. She said that it was an outpatient facility.
Well, it was inpatient and outpatient.
So you guys had a room together at the facility, or was it outside the facility?
No, it was in the facility.
Okay.
I was inpatient, and then the room we had was short-lived because she started creeping me out, and so I told Stephen, and she got moved out of my room and over to the other side, and she went berserk.
So well, the reason I ask is because in the I think it was I can't remember if it was an article that I read or if it was an episode, but it said that a nurse caught you and Tracy being intimate, but then later said it was a back rub.
Yeah, it wasn't intimate. It was just a back rub.
So I was wondering about that.
Yeah, no, it was just a back rub. It wasn't intimate. And it wasn't, my bra wasn't off or anything. It wasn't intimate. No, not at all.
So
But then Tracy was just getting too possessive and too creepy to me. So I told Stephen and she got moved. And she was pissed off.
so
And I think that's when one of the directors testified that, and we were mad when we found out because one of the people testified that she threatened to kill him, and they never told us.
So do you think that at any point that you maybe gave her a wrong impression and maybe led her on a little bit?
Not that I know of. I mean, if I did, it wasn't on purpose. Like me sitting on her lap, I didn't think that was anything. I mean, I guess now thinking back, I guess that was the wrong impression, but at the time I didn't think about it because me and my bunco friends, we always did stuff like that. There were so many pictures of me at bunco and my straight bunco friends. We always girls do that. We sat on each other's lap. We showed each other our boobs and stuff. We always did silly stuff like that. But of course, the twins stole all my pictures, all of them. So I didn't have any to present in the trial because they took all of my files, my pictures, all of that stuff. And when we got drunk at bunco, we used to call it drunko bunko. We would do stupid stuff like that, and it didn't mean anything. So, yeah, now that in retrospect, yeah, probably. But back then, no, I didn't know anything about lesbians.
Right.
I've gone to tons of gay bars and stuff with guys because, male gay people are hilarious and fun, but not females. I would never hang out with a lesbian again ever in life because, no, they're like, no.
I always found it strange that Tracy had like this reputation in the prison of, oh my God, the best friend to everybody. I always thought that was so strange. Like,
oh my God, all the people I come across with that was hated her. I could tell you so many people that can't stand her, and people that when she was friends with one of these people, she held eyes for him while the state prison sergeant and this woman had sex, and he would allow her at Crane to get on the computer and move people to different units within Crane. Yeah, no, they couldn't stand her. And at Carol Young, the major told her that if she dropped all her restrictions, he would let her work in the chapel, and then as soon as she did, he shipped her off the unit. Yeah, no, very conniving and manipulative.
Well, when I was at, I can't remember what unit I was on, but I think she had just been released, actually. And it was a big it was a big topic or whatever. And a lot of people were like, she was just so sweet. And I never thought that about her. I mean, granted, I didn't spend any time with her and I didn't really know her that well, but I never thought that she was that great of a person from what they were.
But she was?
No, I never did think that she was.
Yeah. It's like me. A lot of people hate me and a lot of people like me. But the ones that hate me are the skimmers and scammers, is what I call them. Because if you don't lie, cheat, and steal, and don't have integrity or character, then you do not like me. But if you're a good person and you don't mistreat other people, and you have some integrity and you have a character, then you like me. But if you're just a piece of crap and you take advantage of those less fortunate, and then you don't like me, because I will not. That's how I am. After teaching my children,
that's how I've known you. I mean, we've did quite a bit of time together, and I've never known you to be. I mean, I've always known you to be one to help somebody write a grievance, or always trying to help the underdog. That's how I've always seen you.
Yeah, because in the free world, it was me and the twins, and unfortunately, I taught them to lie. It was me and them, and no matter what, we lied to Steve if it concerned my twins, and so why would I expect them to tell the truth? I just thought they would never lie about me, but, they did. And so now I won't tell a lie for anything. And that's just the way it is. And if you lie to me, I don't care I just try to tell people, if you want me to be your friend, just tell me the truth. I don't care what it is. We'll work it out. But just don't lie to me. I can't get past it. After this crap, I just can't. And then when I help them with grievances, I said, pretend I'm your lawyer. So I'm a real paralegal, not from Blackstone. I really have a certification from a real university. I said, not from Blackstone. I said, pretend I'm your lawyer. Just tell me the truth and we'll figure out how to do this. Don't lie to me. Yeah. Real serious self-lying thing. I know, I can't expect, but I would think that my kids would at least realize that, I don't even care if they don't tell the truth anymore. Just shut up, My God. And they can't tell the same story. I mean, they just, I guess because they lie so much, every TV show, they come up with some extra stuff. I want to, I paid $42,000 or $46,000. I don't know. It's over $40,000 for the transcript. Or otherwise, I would send them a copy and say, why don't you just go from this and stick with this? Because every TV show.
Do you have it on a flash drive?
Yes. My mom can send it to you. It's on a thumb drive.
Yes. I would love it.
Yeah, my mom can send it to you. I'll have her send it. Oh, does Rhonda have your address?
Yes.
Or here?
Yes, she does.
Okay. All right, I'll get it from her, and then I'll give it to my mom. But, yeah.
I was about to ask you something and it just slipped my mind. Oh, how old were the girls when everything happened? Were they 15 or 16?
What do you mean when everything happened?
When your trial happened?
Oh my gosh, no. They were 20. By the time my trial happened, they were 22.
Okay, I thought they were about the same age as me. That's what I was thinking too. But it seemed like they were. Okay, yeah, I misspoke on that. Okay, my bad.
No, they were 19 when they
Right.
started all this crap. Yeah, and see, the reason why I thought Justin had a lot to do with it. He was very controlling. Like when he would try to take my keys and stuff from me, and he'd put them in his pocket and try to tell me I could drive my own when I could drive my car and stuff. When I came back from Timberline, the reason why I was screaming in that tape, I transcribed all of those tapes, and I sound like a crazy person. But I was, because they would tell me, Mom, if you go back into Timberline, we'll talk to you. So I went back in there. Then I come back. They changed all the locks on the houses. They locked it. They took my car keys. They tumbled the locks on the safe at both houses. They took all the master keys to everything. The safe deposit boxes, the post office boxes. They tumbled the locks on both safes. The safety deposit boxes, they took the locks. I had to pay them to drill the locks at the bank, at the safes in the houses. They took the car keys to both vehicles. They sold the Stevens Cadillac to Justin's dad. My power of attorney, that was revoked, and I didn't know when you revoke it, it doesn't really freaking matter, because you have to know every single place that they might use that power of attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people that they use it to, if they don't know that it's revoked, it doesn't matter. They can still use it. They stole the dog at the Stevens dog. They stole the dog from the vet with the power of attorney.
You have 1 minute left.
Oh, you want me to call you back again?
If you want to, yeah, you can.
Okay. All right, I'll call you right back.
Okay.
The caller has hung up.
Okay, so it's getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. What are y'all thinking so far? What's on your mind right now? What did she do? She, her and her lover unalived the millionaire husband. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot of people in the prison who don't like her, who don't like Celeste. But I will tell you this. I've never known her to be underhanded or shady, or she will snitch. I'll tell you that right now. She'll snitch in a heartbeat. She sees something bad going on, she's going to tell it. She does claim to be innocent. She does. She says that Tracy was obsessed with her and committed the crime all on her own.
Hello, this is a free call from
Celeste Johnson.
an inmate
24
at
years.
Murray Unit. This call is being recorded and is subject to monitoring. To accept this free call, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hello.
They were so street smart. I'm not. I'm very book smart, but I don't have common sense. So they changed the address on my bank account to Dripping Springs, Texas, because they were living with their psychologist, their counselor that I was paying for, who had an office with my psychiatrist, who knew that they were living there, and I was going once a week to my psychiatrist, bawling my head off. I don't know where my kids are, but she knew that they were staying there. What kind of conflict of interest is that? And I'm paying the counselor bill and psychiatrist bill, and for 90 days I'm calling the bank. Where is my bank statement? I keep bouncing checks and transferring more money, and the checks, and I didn't think to ask, so they kept sending me bank statements. I didn't think to ask until 3 months later, where are you sending it? And they told me the Dripping Springs address. And the girls wrote a $20,000 check to their counselor's husband so he could buy land with my $20,000. What the hell? Yeah. That's what these kids are doing. Then they buy a Jeep so they could pull my wave runners that they picked up from the marina and took it to the counselor's house because they're so scared of me that they have to stay at the counselor's house. Yeah, that they stole from my checking account. This is what they're doing.
So,
and I'm the one that gets convicted.
So I have a question. When you were convicted and everything, did the girls get an inheritance?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what all they got, but they got, see, the way it was, this was my fault, because Stephen did not want to adopt them. He adopted them November, I don't know, I'm going to say November 18th, but I don't know what day in November. They turned 18 February 6th, 99. Yeah, February 6th of 99, they turned 18. He adopted them November of 98. Only because I said, if you do not adopt my children, I will divorce you. I'm the one that said that. Because he kept putting it off. Because I wanted my children to inherit with his kids. That was the whole point. That was the original contract we had made when I moved in with him 10 days after Elise passed away. That was the whole contract. Everything my whole life has been about the twins. I'm just being honest. I did love him. But the whole reason I moved in with him 10 days after his wife died, and they want to make a big deal about me, marrying Craig so quickly after Stephen died. Well, you don't seem to care that it was only 10 days after Elise died that Stephen wanted me in his bed 10 days after Elise died. Okay, well, I married Craig, at least 7 months after he died. So what? I was in Stephen's bed 10 days after Elise died. Okay, so what? Anyway, so I told Stephen, that's the deal. You promised me, and now if you don't, I want you to adopt them, and they're going to be 18. So anyway, he said, okay. Well, then the girl threw a big hissy fit. No, we don't want Steve is what they called it, as our dad. And I said, yes, you do, because you will inherit. And they kept saying no. And I finally said, yes, it's important. I want you to be taken care of. So finally, they said, okay. And they said, so when he dies, we'll inherit. And I said, yes, I lied. Because I knew that they would not inherit upon his death. But I lied to them. Because that was the only way I could get them to agree to the adoption. So when he died, they thought they were going to get the money. And I knew they weren't, because it was none of their business about the trust. I knew the trust was marital trust, which meant the money went to me in a trust, the marital trust, and then they had to wait till I died or I was put into a mental hospital hospital, or I was convicted of murder. Those are the three things but they would never, ever, ever break the corpus of the trust. They didn't know about that. They only all they would ever get was the interest off the trust. And to me, it was none of their business. They were still going to be set for life.
So,
that's all I wanted. And they were pissed. Oh my God. They were so mad when I told them that. And I guess that must be when they started concocting their plans.
so they didn't, okay.
And I left out the part about Stephen had to be killed. I left off, about that. But anyway, yeah.
So when everything happened and the marital trust thing is, so you inherited the money. So do you have that money now? Or is it just now? No, because you were arrested, and so then it went to the girls then?
But then I found out when I was visited in jail, when I fired my first attorneys, when I fired them, I found out that they had gone and tried to hire attorneys to put me in a mental hospital.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me. Yeah.
So they were trying to do that, like, after the crime or before?
I'm not sure. I guess I should have asked, but I do know they were trying to get me to kill myself. And then I found out that they were trying to get me, I think before. I think it was before. And, yeah. So they were trying to get me to kill myself. And then they made up the story that I was trying to get them to kill themselves with me, which that is ridiculous. I mean, my whole life has been around them.
Is that where the whole thing with the pink caskets came in?
That was such BS. You'll see on the transcript, you'll see the pink casket thing in the civil trial for when the children sued me and lost at the trial. You'll see the other trial, the other trial when all 5 kids sued me. Yeah, you'll see that's all BS. They made that whole thing up. Yeah.
Well, I have another question real quick. So did the girls learn about how much money there was from Tracy?
What do you mean, how much money?
Well, or how like if their inheritance or whatever, did they learn about that? Or
I don't think they ever knew how much money there was. I mean, it was obvious we lived a very opulent life. So I don't think they ever knew the dollar amount of anything. They just knew because they had, we just lived an opulent life, and they always got from me whatever they wanted. And Stephen always said no, but I always said yes. And then Stephen never, as long as it came from me, Stephen never, he just acquiesced. So they knew that.
yeah. So this is going to be a crazy question. How did it feel to have a $35,000 allowance?
Well, that was just for both of us. That was for the running of the house. That wasn't just for me. That was for Stephen and me.
Oh.
That was the expenses for the house. That wasn't just for me. That was for both of us.
Oh, okay. Because they made it sound, I mean, they make it sound like you were spending $35,000 a day.
No, that was the expenses for both of us, for the house, the household expenses. That wasn't just for me.
Was that a month or per month or per day?
No, that was per month. But, I mean, that was like to run the house.
Yeah. Well, I'm only asking because they make it sound like that you were just out shopping every day, buying all this expensive jewelry and, like.
I mean, I didn't. Stephen bought the jewelry. I mean, it's crazy. It's so funny because, I mean, 35,000. That was our school taxes for our property taxes a year. But 35,000. That was our monthly household expenses. Just to keep the pond, the swimming pool, the electricity, the maid. We even paid the maid's taxes. I mean, that's just what it costs to run the house. And that wasn't just me. That was the household expenses. We lived in a mansion. I mean, that's just how much it costs to run the house. And that was just the household expenses. And actually, that included the lake house too. So that was 35,000 was for both houses. So yeah, that's not bad. And we had 2.5 acres of manicured both houses. 2.5 acres was our mansion, and then the lake house. Both houses had manicured yards front and back. And that was 35,000. I don't think that was too expensive to rent 2 houses. So they think that's expensive.
Well, I mean,
I'm sorry.
I can imagine.
I mean, we even paid I had to pay dog. The girls didn't even pick up dog poop. We had to have dog duty come. They came 3 times a week and picked up the dog poop. Stuff like that. I'm sorry, but we couldn't even get them to do that.
And that's wild.
What it cost. And they were called dog duty. Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, no. And what's funny is like Stephen, he loved going clothes shopping and stuff. They act like I'm the one that did all that. But you know who the shopper in the house was? Stephen. And his favorite thing to do was to go grocery shopping every single day. 7 days a week. Yes, that was his thing. He strutted through the grocery store. Yes, he did. He loved to go grocery shopping. He loved all the attention. I had a to-do list for him. After I made his breakfast every morning, I had a to-do list for him next to his placemat because he loved all the attention he got from going to the store. Yeah.
So earlier, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh my gosh, it just slipped my mind. Oh, earlier you said, when you were talking about you moved in 10 days after his wife passed, and you and you said that it was an agreement that so was it kind of like an arranged marriage type of situation? Like I mean, were you guys in love, or was it in a business arrangement?
Well, at first it was a contract because, I mean, you can't fall in love with somebody in one day. I mean, let's just be honest. I was like a trophy wife, but yeah, it was a contract. So yeah, it was a business arrangement because at the time I was in a custody fight with Christina's father. Jennifer lived with her dad in Washington, and Christina lived with me in Texas. And so I was in a custody battle. And because at the time, in my heart, I believed that Craig, the twins' father, was making Jennifer a homosexual. That's just what, in my brain, I thought. That it was his fault she was gay. So that's just how I felt. That it wasn't him making her into a boy, and so I wanted Jennifer in Texas with me.
And so
She wanted to be with her dad.
So you and Stephen had the agreement that he would help you get custody of your children back and then adopt them.
Jennifer, yeah, that he would get Jennifer back to Texas where she belongs, because at 12 you can choose, and she chose her dad because he let her do whatever she wanted, and I didn't. And so he said, "I'll get Jennifer back, and but I want you with me. I want to marry you." And I said, "Okay." So I was like, "Okay."
So at one point, the girls, one was living with you and one was living with the dad, right?
Yeah, Jennifer wanted to be with her dad, and Christina wanted to be with me. So, but I really didn't want Jennifer with Craig. But the only reason why I relented is because Craig's new wife, she looked like a Baptist nun. She was very matronly, and so she made me feel like, that I must have been the reason that Craig used drugs, and because she looked so plain, and she was very unattractive and just plain Jane looking. So I thought, wow, it really was my fault that he used drugs and was an alcoholic, because I was young when I met him, 16, and so I never used drugs, and I just knew he drank, but I didn't think anything of it because I never could smell drugs on him. But he was very abusive, and he beat me up and burned me and stabbed me and shot at me, and so I just always assumed, it was that. But then I thought, well, then I met her, and she looked like a plain Jane Baptist preacher's daughter, and she was, just very unattractive, and she wore, I just thought, oh my gosh, it must have been my fault.
Okay,
So
I want
I
to
decided to let Jennifer up there.
I want to clarify. I want to ask you a question real quick. Okay, so you spoke about Jennifer's sexuality, correct? And so it's said in, obviously, in anything that you look up about your case, it says that you and Tracy were in a relationship.
No, we were never in a relationship. Even in her journals that Dick read, and you'll see in her transcripts when my mom sent you the thumb drive, she even admits in her journals that she's writing to herself that we are not in a relationship, never, and we never were. That she's just wishing we were. She's writing that to herself in her journal.
So there was one episode, and I can't remember, but one of your daughters said that she witnessed y'all kissing.
Yeah, that's a complete lie. Even her own store employees at the bookstore said they've never seen us doing anything.
I was talking on my podcast, and someone asked, since we were locked up together, if I ever knew you to be in a relationship, and I've never known you to be in any kind of relationship in the prison. Never.
No, never. Never have I ever. No.
I always thought that was interesting. Honestly. That always stood out to me, because when you read about your case, that's one of the things that they say. Oh, she was in this relationship, she used this girl, blase, blase. And then I think about that you've never been in a sexual relationship in the prison. So to me, if you were that way, you would be that way again.
I know, and it's amazing in here how many people that even haven't done it after all these years try it in here out of loneliness, and nope, I will never, no.
Well, I want to try to do some investigating and
Okay.
find out if I can find out what the relationship status is between Jennifer and Tracy.
Okay.
Because I'm curious
How
about that.
hard is it to do a FOIA?
It's not.
Because I really want to do a FOIA on Bayardo. The investigator that did a FOIA on him and emailed me, David Fisher, he was investigating all the medical examiners, and then he emailed me. He's the one that got Travis County revamped, said that Bayardo did not work for Harris County as the deputy chief before he got Travis County, which means he perjured himself on the stand when he said he was deputy medical examiner for Harris County. He said not only was he not deputy medical examiner for Harris County, he said he never worked for Harris County in any capacity. And but then he passed away. I have all the dates and everything going back. If I could send them to you. My mom has macular degeneration, so she can't even see hardly anything anymore on the computer. If I send you all that on the transcript, could you do it for you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
And then let me give you, before we get cut off, let me give you Dick's cell phone number.
Oh, don't give it to me online. Don't give it to me right now. Send it to me.
Oh, okay. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
And then I'm going to have my mom text him.
Or you can just ask your mom to text it to me. That'll be fine.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's funny. Okay. Okay. That's hilarious. I forget. I told you I read common sense. Yeah.
Is there anything else that you can think of right now that you want to make sure is known or anything?
There's just so many things that my kids have done. I mean, I'm just like in total shock about all of this. Well, you knew about Van Ray, right? The one that happened right before causing Tracy to go into that psychiatric, into St. David, who Van Ray is.
I think, yeah, it's ringing a bell.
Well, she was the hairdresser, and the judge would not let it be presented in my trial. Tracy, she was the hairdresser, heterosexual, married to a man, and somehow Tracy got her to turn. She's never been with a woman, and Tracy got her with Tracy, and then the man died of mysterious causes, and I guess it turns out they finally decided that he committed suicide over Van Ray and Tracy's relationship, because she had never been with a woman before. They were married. It was
Wow.
an extramarital relationship. Anyway, so then she ended up leaving Tracy, and then Tracy went psycho, and I guess Tracy went psycho during all of that. And so, like, she did on me. And so I guess she was pressuring her and all that, but Dick has all the information on that. And Van Ray was going to testify in my trial, but the judge wouldn't let her. So she was a hairstylist.
I want to ask another thing before I forget.
Okay.
So I was watching something about the trial, and they said that you tried to hire someone to take Tracy out. What was the deal behind that?
Oh my God. Okay, Donna Goodson. She was a receptionist, and she did look like a transvestite. Well, Jennifer, again, she talked me into hiring her because I was really getting on the twins' nerves because I was so needy, and I was getting on the twins' nerves. So she talked me into hiring Donna Goodson. She was at Salon 29 in our shopping center. And so the twins are getting real irritated with me because I'm getting a little too needy, and they want to do their own thing with after Steve dies. So she talks me into hiring Donna Goodson. So I'm paying Donna Goodson like $400 a week just to hang out. You know, be my assistant, which I don't need, and just really. So Donna Goodson is a piece of crap because she's stealing from me, but I don't know it because somehow my jewelry, everything in our house is fine, all the fine art. I spent $500,000 that Steve gave me, which they make a big deal about, but that was my money. Steve gave it to me, and what I spent it on was all the fine art that were around the house, the paintings and stuff, which was an investment, and they make a big deal about it. Who effing cares? It was an investment. They were all insured. Everything was marked, you know, photographed and insured. And anyway, of course, they made a big deal about it. But who cares? It was insured and it was an investment. Whatever. So anyway, and all the jewelry that Steve bought me was numbered and insured. Well, I didn't know until later on that the Detective Schuessler was when I finally got into the safe after the twins tumbled the locks and stole some of the jewelry, that they found some of my jewelry because it was marked and labeled. When Detective Schuessler put my missing items into the computer, guess who stole some of it? Donna Goodson. And I had so much jewelry. I had over $500,000 in jewelry that I didn't even know it was gone because I just didn't know. Anyway, she was my assistant. She was stealing my jewelry, and she said that I gave it to her to fix her car, $600 repair. Anyway, that was a lie. They found her to be a liar in court. So anyway, I'm paying her all this money to be my assistant friend, which is what she came up with to say that I paid for a hitman. All the checks that I gave her, she said I paid her to be a hitman. And when I was telling Christina...
You have 1 minute left.
When I was telling Christina on the phone, they altered the tape. What I was telling her is that Donna Goodson threatened me and said if I turn her in for all of the steps and stuff, she's going to tell them that I paid her for a hitman. And the girls and Justin audited the tape. That's what I said. And we hired a good, reputable company that proved that the tapes were altered. The jury just did.
Before it cuts off, I want to set up for another phone call with you.
Okay. Tell me when.
I'll email you. Or your mom.
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, tell my mom, because that'll be faster.
Faster, yes. I will definitely. Thank you so much for coming on and telling.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll talk again very soon.
Thank you for using Securus. Goodbye.
Well, that was interesting and it was good. And I will download it and I will put it on YT. What did y'all think? It happened in 99, but she wasn't arrested until 2003. I was nervous. I know I didn't say a lot, but she was talking, so I was letting her talk. Oh my gosh. Okay, listen, I gotta get off here because I've got to go check on these girls. Yes, it was. I'm gonna download this. What's up, Jilly Bean? Thank you so much. I'm gonna download this and post it to YT. And I'll get with her again. I'm gonna still have a conversation with her mom, and her mom actually wants to be on live too. Okay, she wants this. Yes, she wants to talk to, and also her attorney. Gosh, what's his last name? Oh my gosh, somebody put his last name in. I know y'all know it. Dick. I can't remember it. No, it's not. It's not. It's Durgan, or something like that. There is. Look on YT. Darrigan. Something like that. Anyways, so that's that. Thank y'all so much for hanging out. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. And do pray for her, because she really is going through a lot. I mean, she was freaking raped by 3 officers in the prison just 3 weeks ago. It's Ray Long. She's country. Dagrin. Okay. Dagrin. Something. They're about $1.50, or no, they're like $2.60 now. What up, Puff? So anyways, a lot of women are coming forward about that, and well, 2 of the guys were arrested. One of them has not been arrested yet, but he is definitely under investigation. And so, yeah. I'm going to get this downloaded and onto the YT. And thanks for hanging out. Hope you all had a good time.